April 9th, 2023. You're listening to Oblast with Don and Kevin. I am Kevin.
That making me that. Yep. Okay. Hi, I'm Don.
And we're back again with the show. Welcome, everybody. Sometimes I forget what show we're doing. I just start talking and I'm just like, is it, what is the show? Oh, yeah.
It's like you're so used to being like, live at Midwest Waste or whatever, VGN or, it's just like, wait, which one is this?
Undead from Cleveland. But yeah, no, it's Oblast again. It's Oblast again. And, yeah, I don't know. Talking to, my brother and Larry and stuff, and just realize these guys aren't very healthy people.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll get to 65 and retired so that we could do this show at again, there's one day with all of them, I mean, Larry, maybe, I doubt it. My brother, he just seems to get something wrong with them all the time. He went to Cinema Wasteland, and he was like in rare form at the most recent Cinema Wasteland, and he was drunk, I suppose, and really animated, running around, humping everybody's leg. And then, of course, like a day or two later, he's like, I got pain in my side. And it's like, he's got like sciatica or something. It's like, yeah, dude, because you were pelvic thrusting people all night.
You're hopping on people left and right.
Right. Like, it's, you obviously injured yourself. So now he's on some kind of pain meds for that. And Larry is also in physical therapy for back spasms and some sort of pain that he's had, but they gave him meds for that. So, now those guys are in great shape, basically.
Yeah.
But you were dying last week. And you had to go into work and you were bitter about it. Continue the story then. How did things end up?
Dude. So they had me, I think I mentioned how they were like, had me on, I had to go on this website and fill in all this stuff. It was like an absence, matrix absence is what it's called. And I was like, what does this do? And they're like, you just go in there and you print in there that you're going to take this day off and this day off. You don't feel good and and it takes care of everything. And I go, as opposed to me just telling you, like, it's like, you're the boss. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not coming in tomorrow, but now you're telling me I have to go home, get on a website, log in, do all this stuff just to tell him I'm not coming in tomorrow. And it's like, and he's like, yeah, it makes it so much easier. I'm looking at him, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So, anyways, I skipped ahead. Sorry. I did go in on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. I went in there and boy, was I a mess.
Oh, geez.
I felt like sickness wise, I was like, okay, I just got to get on my feet for more than 10 minutes. Cause that's all I've been doing is getting up, walking somewhere, coming back and laying down.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a matter of staying vertical for, a good amount of time. So that was my goal. I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not lifting anything heavy. If somebody came in here and says, I need this couch, you're fucked. You're on your own.
Right.
But I went in and my boss goes, so how's it feel? I go, I'm just trying to get back on my feet, try to get mobile and try to get everything back in stand. He goes, I'll tell you what, why don't you take it easy today? And I just looked at him. I go, really? Should I? I haven't been here in a week and a half and I haven't really eaten anything. So should I take it easy? He's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, man, I was already way ahead of you. Got about a couple hours in and I said, you know what? I feel good. I think I can lift this. I could tip this dresser and get these wheels underneath here. It's not like I'm lifting the thing off the ground or nothing, like Superman style. And felt like it when I did it because my fucking whole body exploded, like my back. My brain, spine, everything just kind of like as I picked it. I didn't pick it. I picked it up like a foot off the ground, like one end of it, and my whole body went. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm done." So Monday, I made it half a day, and I went up to the bosses. Was like, I just threw my back out because I haven't been doing anything. I know it's like I know why. I haven't been doing anything, and I'm physically weak. Haven't eaten. And they were like, "Okay, so go home." That's where this absence place thing comes in. They're like, just go home and put in there that, you took a half a day today and you're going to take off tomorrow. Just take tomorrow off as well. And then, And I'm like looking at him like, you're all four of you sitting here are my bosses. And I told you all I'm not coming in tomorrow. Like, and that's where this stupid website thing comes. It's just like, why? What am I going to do this for? Like, why? Who cares? Why am I? Why is there a third party involved? Basically, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. So, needless to say, I went. I got some food because I hadn't eaten. I went home and actually kind of felt better. Like stand up, not my back, but like standing up and being up and about, not so lightheaded, not so, crazy eyed or whatever. I was like, oh, I kind of feel like that kind of helps. Like it kind of shook some rust off or whatever. Fucking ate again. I went to sleep that night and did not wake up until 1:00 the afternoon the next day. And I was out of it. I was just like, I didn't know what day it was.
Wow.
I didn't know where I was.
This is so weird.
Because it was like the one, it was like I slept. I was like, oh my God, I finally slept without the problems, without the nightmares or whatever, and not the fucking all this shit. Fucking made it through there. I was like, holy crap, that's the best. Just stumbling through my house like a zombie, just kind of, where am I? Somebody here? Anybody help me? And I was like, okay, so I'm getting better now. I just got to fix my back. The next night I did not sleep as well. It was not as good. So that was a big fucking that Monday night really, because it was like so good. And then the next night was like back to the normal. And I was like, you're killing me. I can't fucking do this. I was like, so needless to say, I didn't go back to work. Oh, I went home and went on that little website to put in, 2 minutes. You go in there, put the information in, you're good to go. 20 minutes after I logged into it and I finally finished like all these stupid questions, it says you are now eligible for text messaging. And I'm looking at this like, they sent me this last week. Like when I first signed up for this thing, like, yeah, I'm eligible for text messaging. That's how I get the messages. And they're like, you're ready for this and this. Go in and log in and do all that. And I was just like, you know what? Oh, fuck this thing. Just shut it. Put the computer away and went to sleep. Like this is I don't understand. I don't know what it's like. It's such a big help. It's like it's not help. It's a fucking pain in my ass. So I didn't go back until Wednesday. Didn't do anything. I was like, I'm not touching anything. I'm here. I'm kind of helping. I'll do some stuff. I'll do some light stuff. Had Thursday off. Went in Friday and Saturday. Halfway through Saturday, pulled my hamstring.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Now that my back was feeling much better. I pulled my hamstring, but by this time I had been eating. I've been kind of sleeping. I've been kind of getting out of rotation. So I'm back in that aspect.
Right.
Like physicality, almost physicality because I keep fucking breaking everything.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'm back on the right track. I kind of get these random headaches here or there, just pop in and out. And it's just like, I don't know where that came from, but okay, that hurt.
Such a weird sickness you got, man.
Yeah, well, from armpits exploding to this. got all kinds of good stuff going on. So, but I've been feeling better, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I got. Pretty sure. There's probably something else. There was something I wanted to say last week, but I forgot what it was. I can't remember now, so it doesn't matter. But go ahead.
Yeah, I have a cell phone, and I had AT&T forever, basically. And I said slowly over time upgraded the phone to their various packages with their bonuses and all this sort of stuff. And I was paying for the ex-girlfriend's phone too. She was giving me money for it, but and my phone bill was basically for two phones, it was about $180 a month, right? And it's pretty high, but it also came with like free HBO and then these other things to like, I don't know, if I went to Colombia or something, I could make phone calls or something, stuff like that. But I recently, so there's like, so what happened is so there were four basically main phone companies that own all the wireless spectrum. It's AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint, right? And all the other ones of, Cricket, Boost, Rebel Wireless, Metro PCS,
Rebel,
Ting, Republic, whatever, man.
Consumer Cellular.
Those are all just resellers of the same 4 groups of spectrum. So anyway, what happened is that T-Mobile was like, hey, we want to buy Sprint. We want to buy them. And they made a deal with the Justice Department because the Justice Department was like, there's got to be 4 carriers. There's got to be 4. And they said, well, what we'll do is we'll help Dish, those TV people. We'll help the Dish people be the 4th network. And we'll give them some of our spectrum, some of our radio signals, whatever. And we'll also give them, they had to pay for it, whatever, but we'll also give them Boost Mobile and Republic Wireless and like Ting, and they can set up and be the 4th network. And then on top of that, what we'll do is we'll let them use our network so they can get subscribers and stuff for the next 7 years, right? So Dish, took over Boost Mobile, Ting, Republic Wireless, and has people on the T-Mobile network. And then in 2021, they cut a landmark deal with AT&T to be able to put new subscribers on AT&T's network for some amount of time, maybe a long time, and relatively inexpensively. I don't know what AT&T gets out of that exactly, but other than a lot of money, maybe they need it. But it undercuts their own business, like mine. So right now they have this thing called Boost Infinite, and it's unlimited voice, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Although unlimited data means it's 30 gigabyte, and then it might get slowed down, right? But that's the same as most of these other ones. Most of these other ones that say unlimited data have some sort of ceiling on that unlimited before they start throttling your ass. And it's, so you get unlimited, and it's $25 a month. So I was like, dude, I'm just switching to this because it's using the same, I'm on AT&T. This is using AT&T. So I'm going to switch this. And instead of paying $80 a phone or $90 a phone, I'm going to $25 a phone. And then I'm going to make my ex-girlfriend take on her own bill by now because we're not in a relationship anymore. I know she gave me the money for it, but it's like, it's you take care of it. You got your own phone now. It's all good.
You're an adult.
Yeah. You take the phone. So going from like $180 phone bill to $25 is a big deal. So anyway, I switched that over. Super easy. If anybody's ever curious how easy it is. I thought the one sticking point might be porting the phone number. I've heard lots of horror stories over the years that if you wanted to move your phone number from one service to another service, could take a while, it could be problematic and stuff. Dude, it literally took 1 minute. Didn't have to talk to anybody. Did it all through the app. It was super simple. And then I don't even have to call AT&T to cancel. Like as soon as you port the thing over to the service, it automatically runs you through the whole cancellation process over there. So now I just have the one phone on the plan, which is hers. And so I'm like, cause I was testing it with mine just to make sure. Cause you get it and then it sucks, and then you're like, right. So now it's been fine. No, it's been fine. It's been fine. There's no issues with it. I have no problem. Now listen, I use my phone to text. I use my phone to make some phone calls. I download some apps. I use some data. This is what I do with it. If you're a person out there that uses some sort of advanced, I don't know, features of your networking, something with your phone provider, I don't know if it's going to support whatever people want. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you from a basic user's perspective, it works fine for me. And it's $25 for life. That's the other thing too. They're never going to raise the price. It's like in the contract. It's $25 for life. Now, what happens with these things, and I'm aware of this, is that one day 5G will be 6G, 6G will be 7G, 7G will be 8G, and then they'll be like, we're retiring 5G. That plan's no good anymore. You know what I mean? They do that shit. And so the plan will go away one day when 5G goes away. But I'll probably be dead, or I just won't care anymore. You know, I'll have moved on to something else by then with flashy blinky lights.
There won't be cell phones anymore by then.
Right. So I just figured, you know, I'll just take what I can get at this point and just take the $25 instead of the $200 bill and be happy. So I'm kind of happy with that. I don't know. The monitor you were on just decided to it was like, you know what? I don't want to have, I see it's making that noise. I don't want to have, why is it doing
what noise?
Well, maybe you can't hear it. The listeners might be able to hear it. It doesn't probably feed back to you because you're on that particular machine. But it's like I'm checking the wiring because maybe it's like in the HDMI cable's not good or something.
Should I not talk? Does that make it worse?
No, it's fine. Maybe this power plug. I don't know. You know, this monitor, it's a good monitor. Okay. So maybe this thing doesn't know. Maybe that's not it. Hold on. There's another. Sorry, everybody. What happened is that Don, I have him on his own monitor, which is fine, but the monitor went off. So I can't see anything on his screen, and I'm trying to turn that monitor on, and it keeps turning itself off. So now I'm wondering if maybe there's something wrong with this monitor's power supply, which just, of course, has to happen now.
Right. Well,
in the middle of the show.
When you're using it.
Right, not any other time.
It's not like there's a video of me on the screen. It's not like...
It's got to be broken now, all of a sudden.
I mean, there's nothing you're looking at, right?
No, we don't need it, but I can't...
Throws you off.
Yeah, what the fuck? All right, fucking stupid thing. Hold on. Oh, now it's lighting up. Now it's lighting up because it wants to be dumb, but I'm still pulling out the wire. I'm pulling it out. It's like, I think this is like a USB cable. Why is it pissed off about this? All right, I don't need that plugged in. What is this USB cable for? I'm not plugging that in anymore. Leaving that unplugged. Here's the power outlet over here. That's loose. Okay, here we go. I like seeing your little cartoon face, though. You know.
Yeah,
it gives me it's like some personality. There we go. That's better now. It's a good monitor, actually. It's like a BenQ. I've had this for a while. All right. I have actually 4 monitors on my desk, all pretty large. They're all on arms.
Yeah.
The one's a little bit too tall, though. I mean, I got to look up, and it's bad for my neck, so I shouldn't do that. But anyway, so I was I talked to Donnie about this, folks, but a lot of you people that watch Marvel stuff might know this. You know, the new Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out soon. And I hope it's going to be good because, you know, they've had a good track record with those. The second one was to me, it was a little middling, but some people I know really liked it. But lately, Marvel's movies haven't been that great. You know what I mean? Like, they're still making tons of money. They're still printing cash. Yeah. But I mean, I haven't really enjoyed them very much. Because I don't really understand all the stakes that are going on. But new Guardians of the Galaxy, and apparently Adam Warlock is in it. Now, we talked about Adam Warlock previously, and he's kind of a weird, he's kind of dumb.
Kind of gold.
He's gold. He's got a ruby in the middle of his forehead, and he almost kind of reminds you of Vision in a way, but he's not an android. But he has that same thing. Like, I think he's kind of asexual.
Alien.
Yeah, alien, boring dude. And I think Jim Starlin, who wrote the original Infinity Gauntlet stuff, I don't know if he created Adam Warlock before the whole Infinity saga, but he ultimately, when Thanos lost the Infinity Gauntlet and they eventually, defeat him, they basically break up the stones and the power of the stones and everything, and put them in trust with Adam Warlock and his group, right? But that was a terrible comic. I had a subscription to that comic. Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch? It was like the storylines weren't great, but the like they didn't have any artists. Like they were just like, whose 5-year-old kid can draw? Right. Because we got deadlines to meet, and this one's we got to draw this one, and most of them were just terribly drawn. I get it. They used the best artists on their signature rags, the Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men, whatever. But once you get to these like edgy ones, the fringe ones, nah, it's terrible. But and I could never really quite figure out what the hell his power really was. He always seemed like he'd go through like some sort of mind walk or some shit like that with people, but it was, like you didn't. X-Men were always like a lot easier. Just, this guy shoots rays of light out of his hands, this guy's got claws and stabs, and
this guy's got wings. This guy makes ice.
This villain is very fat and will sit on you or something. Like the guy runs fast. Like I get it. And you start getting into this weird, like metaphysical shit where it's like, he goes into your brain and argues with 5 versions of yourself and everything. You just,
that's the point in the comic books where they started going into space, using more space characters.
Right.
It's easier to explain, like, what do you mean this dude shoots lasers out of his nipples? And it's like, he's an alien. Oh, okay, well then that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, oh, how come this guy's like super strong? It's like, 'cause he's an alien. And it's like, oh, you know what I mean? That's just
right.
It makes it easier for him. It's like the whole Batman thing. It's like, why does he have shark repellent? Like, is that something he puts? Why is that in his utility belt? But anyways, that's kind of like what they started doing with all them space characters. It's like, we'll just bring in this dude and we'll say he's from the planet Flop Flop. And that,
Yeah, but I mean, part of that too is also because like some of the characters they invented were just way too powerful and people wanted to see more of them. And so you had to create these other enemies that were ridiculously powerful, and they can't really slug it out on Earth. There's innocent people everywhere,
Right.
So you gotta
buildings,
right? So you gotta put them out on the alien worlds or something, and have them battle, around neutron stars or something. I mean, I don't know, but and they would always like land at in a planet that was like kind of like human beings, it's always like a marketplace or something. It's
always like, understand each other.
Yeah, there's always like a town. There's like a purple dude with a lot of teeth, and it's a green person, and it's just like I mean, that's where Thanos and all them come from. I get it. It's part of Marvel. Marvel, space. It's a big part of their whole thing. But Adam Warlock. So anyway, he's younger in this. He looks human, of course. He's not yellow or anything. I'm sure they'll probably like wink at it at some point. He'll walk through a mustard factory or something and be all yellow for a minute. Yeah, or gold, right? And then that'll wash off or something, and he'll look like he does now. They always do that stuff. But the more interesting thing is that they're going to have the High Evolutionary in there, and I've never really been a big fan of the High Evolutionary. I always thought he was kind of like Apocalypse Light in a way. They had different ideologies. Apocalypse was always about like everybody should kill themselves in order to like evolve into the better race or whatever it is, And the High Evolutionary is more like, I will genetically engineer you to be better and different and all this sort of stuff, or, add robotic things to you if I want or whatever. So they conflict, but they're similar in a lot of ways. And, but he is actually a fairly interesting character in terms. I hope he's not a one and done deal. Like they've been doing, like they're just going to defeat him at the end of the episode and then we won't see any more of him. Like I keep hoping that they're going to take this, and I'm sure the plot's out there and everybody already knows it and I don't. But I just kind of hope that they're going to sort of start some kind of an arc here, that it's going to go somewhere, because none of these I mean, we keep talking about Secret Wars and all this sort of stuff, but it's just kind of like, yeah, like it's just nothing's solidified here. It's like, come on.
The more they talk about that, the less I want anything to do with it. I've said it before. It's like this is the area in the comic books that I stopped reading. So it's like, oh, no wonder I'm not as interested as
the stakes just aren't there, man. The only thing I'm looking forward to is maybe the Daredevil reboot, and I hope that's okay. I don't know if it will be, but
that's the thing, though. Even if that is good, is that one show enough to cover for all the fucking other garbage?
No, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know where they're
trying to introduce. They're trying to introduce new characters and trying to phase out the old ones.
I get that.
I get they're not doing it the right way.
Right. I get they have to do that because contracts and everything, but they're not. There's still, again, like okay, like we've talked about this a little bit, but like the Avengers are a great team, right? You had to do the Avengers. Like, it just makes sense. The Avengers is, everybody wants Hulk and Thor and Iron Man and Captain America and all this. Nobody cares about Black Widow. You want them all to fight, and they did an ace job with that. I think everybody can agree. I mean, you might not like cartoon movies out there, but it'd be hard to say that making billions of dollars like they have off these things, they didn't do a fantastic job with it. But now you don't have the Avengers, basically. There's no new Avengers movies, as far as I know. I don't know if there's any Avengers movies slated to be made.
Well, that's what Secret Wars is. There's two more Avengers movies coming. Avengers War Kang Dynasty. Avengers Kang Dynasty. And
have you seen that official, though, or is that just what you've heard?
Well, it's in the timeline. That's their
Marvel's timeline. Well, that's good to know. Because that is true. We did see Kang. But because I don't know what that team's going to look like at this point.
Right.
My guess is the Hulk will be in it. Like they need another power team, and I don't know why they're sitting on the X-Men. I don't know if anybody does. I don't know if it's a weird licensing issue or what they're doing. Other than Deadpool, it's go ahead. What do you know?
I was going to say, I bet. Well, I don't know anything because I'm dumb, but I bet they're sitting on the X-Men because they don't want to just throw it out there. Number one, they don't want to just be like, quick, get it out there.
Oh no, let's do something good for sure. I agree.
Number two, I think they're going to wait extra long because if this phase doesn't pan out, then they can be like, all right, next phase is X-Men. And then just, you know what I mean? And just start pelting everybody with that.
I don't really want another Fantastic Four movie. I know they might be able to do a good job with it, but the way they've been going lately with things, I don't really want them to. I don't want them to make one because they've been terrible up until that now. And if they make another one that's terrible, I'm going to lose my mind. So find some talented director who's like, you know what I want to do? I want to do Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, all right. Well, Quentin Tarantino, go ahead and make your version of Fantastic Four. I don't know. But but don't just try and make it because it's going to suck. Now, that being said, other than Avengers West Coast, which of course they could do, big power teams, X-Men, Avengers, who else? Fantastic Four, sure, but who? Marvel, big teams, any other?
Alpha Flight.
Yeah, I guess there is Alpha Flight. They're pretty.
If you're into Canadian superheroes.
They're pretty. They haven't done much with that at all. That's another one, but I guess that falls in the realm of the X-Men. But
popular for like a bit. There was like a spike in the Alpha Flight thing, and then they I don't know what they did. They screwed the whole thing up.
I mean, you got that whole X Factor, right? That was a Captain Britain and all that, but that's also mutants. Or Excalibur. Yeah, Excalibur.
X-Force.
X-Force. No. Yeah, X-Force was one, yeah. New Mutants. You had New Mutants, but that wasn't, they were dumb, and they tried to make a movie out of that. But they
were all specialty groups. Like X-Force was like, we're low-key mutant hunters.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell anybody we're mutants.
Yeah, X-Force was just a Rob Liefeld creation. And before he quit or left Marvel, so it was half-baked. You know, he ended up having with that Cable guy, created Bishop. I think was he. I know he did Shatterstar, but was he responsible for Longshot in the beginning? He might have been.
No, that's Mojo. Like, isn't it?
Is it okay?
Mojo.
Maybe that was earlier than Liefeld coming around. But no, Longshot wasn't in X-Force, but I'm saying like I think Liefeld might have created him because he was drawing for X-Men before he went to X-Force. But anyway, yeah, that guy.
There's no other like big groups. There's like you said,
villains
X-Men,
groups, the
Masters of Evil.
There's the White Queen, Black Queen, Hellfire Club.
Hellfire Club.
Yeah,
they weren't really.
And then what is it? I got the Society of Evil Mutants, but that's not what it is. That had they fought the X-Men. They had
that was the Magneto's.
They had
mutants or whatever.
Well, there was the one that had Destiny.
Avalanche, Pyro,
right?
The Blob, the Toad,
the chick, the Spiral,
Mystique.
Yeah, Mystique.
That's where Spiral came from.
That was a team, and then you had. There's lots of teams. There's lots of evil teams because they had to fight these evil teams all the time. You know what I mean? So there's like lots of different. Yeah, but there's not actually many good teams that are out there. Although I'm sure we're missing a couple, but I don't know if they actually had their own magazines.
No, there's no villains getting their own magazines.
Not villains. I mean, good guys. Like I don't know how many good guy magazines teams. That there were
more small teams like the Defenders.
Yeah, of course, right.
The Invaders, that's an old one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just would like to see another like direction. If they're not gonna, but you said they're gonna do Avengers, so let's see what happens, I guess. But I don't know. Okay, you still got Thor, and I guess you still have Hulk, but you don't have Iron Man.
Strange.
You have Doctor Strange, I guess, although he's not really the master of, you know what I mean? So they
either use him or they use
Wong. So Wong. Yeah, Wong. Maybe that guy that plays Wong is just cheaper than that Cumberbatch guy. So they're just like, we'll use Wong because we can't afford Cumberbatch and everything.
Yeah, right. We'll just have him. We could have him do a cameo. That's
right. Bring the Wong guy in, but
and you got Captain Marvel, you got She-Hulk, you got
Captain, right? But are they officially members at this point? I don't.
They can easily become members because She-Hulk, Hulk.
I don't want She-Hulk. I don't want She-Hulk or Moon Knight.
Yeah, right.
I don't want either of them in my Avengers. Thank you. But yeah, but then there was a lot of weak characters actually in the Avengers that we liked to some extent, like the guy that shot the arrows.
Come on, man.
Hawkeye. Well, I get Arrow in my head all the time from DC.
My favorite.
And Black Widow, Falcon.
Right. You get like Tigra. It's like a girl that looks like a tiger. She's got claws. She runs around in a bikini. It's like, what?
Didn't that girl fight Wonder Woman or something? It was very similar to that in the one Wonder Woman movie.
Right, but she didn't look like it. She wasn't furry. Like the Beast,
like Scarecrow or whatever that guy looks like, a scarecrow.
He's like, I'm the Beast. I'm all covered in blue hair, and I can do acrobatic stuff. And I make jokes.
Yeah, and he was like a smart kid. But see, the X-Men, they kind of wasted that in the X-Men movies because like Beast is somewhat interesting, but when you've got Professor X there, who's like got the biggest brain in the room, you don't need a brain furry guy on top of it. You know what I mean? And you don't need a strong man. They shouldn't really have used. I mean, he's the original character they had to do, but so was Angel, and they didn't bring him in until way later. I think audiences would have been way happier if it would have been Colossus instead, because there's just like a lot of love for Colossus for reasons I mean, there you go. See, for just being basically a strong guy made out of steel, but he had good writing, I think, for a while in the books. Like, you know, he was like this conflicted character, and they spent a lot of time with him. That was very similar to Beast in a way, strong, fighting between his identity of being a furry dude and a regular dude. And Colossus was like fighting between being human and being a guy that was all made out of steel. But
he kept falling in love with the wrong people. He's just a fucking idiot. You go read The Secret Wars. He goes out there. He falls in love with the fucking alien that's in love with the Human Torch. And he's like, I don't understand why she does not want to be with me. It's like, but this dude's flying her around. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm the Human Torch, And she's like, I'm an alien. I don't know what's going on. And then Klaus is like, I brought you flowers. She's just like, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't speak that like.
Yeah.
But that's what he does. And like the Kitty Pryde thing. He's like, oh, Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
Like, she's 14. And he's like, oh, well, then Mother Russia, it's okay. And they're like, no, we're not Russia. We're not, this is America, bro. Hilarious. You need to wait a couple years here. It's just creepy. You know what I mean? It's just, whatever.
That was a weird thing in Marvel too with him, because they gave him that sister, that Ileana, who was like basically in hell, right? Like she was like she was living in hell or something. Like it was like the weirdest thing, because the storyline. Go ahead.
He's a mutant that can turn into steel and like beat people up and is really strong and stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh yes, by the way, this is my sister. And I'm like, you had a sister? And he's like, she was in hell. I didn't know she was coming back.
Right. Right.
He's like, I'm not sure if she come back or not. So I never mentioned her. Now she's evil. She wants to kill us all.
Yeah. And like, and she just basically could do magic and had a big sword or something, if I recall. Very, very weird, but likable. Like, I don't know what it is, but that guy, like, people really liked him, and I think Marvel would have, because they did kind of put him in X-Men 2, but he was like a teenager, and he was in it for like 2 minutes talking to Wolverine or something. Yeah. And it's like it was cool he had a cameo, and I know he's been in Deadpool, but it would be better back in the day before that to have this more serious version of him. Because I think he would have been, it would have been more well embraced. But anyway, all right, I don't know. So I'm kind of looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I don't know. I hope it's good. I mean, would you go see it if it's rated good, or what are you thinking?
What, Guardians?
Yeah.
I don't know, man, because it's really a 50-50 shoot. Just because of the difference between the first one and the second one. And it's like, it's kind of like trying to watch a Thor movie and take him seriously. You can't anymore because it's just
right.
Oh, it's just so some of it's just like, okay, I get it. Everybody's so funny. That's haha.
Yeah.
As someone like me, who my girlfriend's like, why does everything have to be a joke to you? And it's like, I don't know. I just make everything funny. that seems too much to me. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't mind if I do it, but.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It's the end of the trilogy. I mean, it's going to be that's it, because James Gunn ain't doing no more, and neither are any of the people in it. So it's like that.
But didn't James Gunn move over to DC? Isn't he doing something for DC now or something?
He's doing all of DC. He's over there running the show.
Yeah, like we'll see what happens, but I don't know. Warner, not the same as Disney, but I don't know. We'll see. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about, I learned something that I thought was fascinating to me. When you go to a website or whatever, any kind of online thing, and it's like, let's make sure you're a human being. And it's like, here's a picture of a word. Go ahead and type that word in on your computer, right? And it's like, the word's kind of mangled. You know what I mean? It's
like letters are connected.
Right. It's got a line through it or something. And that's called a CAPTCHA, right? And the main one that was being used by everybody was made by Google. And the thing is that that thing's not actually really that effective. There's lots of ways to get around it. A lot of the intelligence of computers have gotten better. It's kind of like an arms race in a way, because they increase the difficulty, and then the computers get better at it. And then also you can pay like $1 an hour to have people just log in for you from China or whatever too, and do it. So it's really not that useful. But this is the part I found fascinating, was that Google was actually harvesting and using that your labor to help translate books for them. So, for instance, what they do is they take old books and they put them on flat scanners, and they archive all of them. There's Google Books, and as far as I know, you can't read like a whole book on Google Books, but you can search through it. So you can search through all sorts of books and magazines and newspapers and stuff. But a lot of times the optics and the way a lot of this print was made, the way it was typed in, the way it was maybe handwritten, whatever it was, it can't get an accurate read on this, and it can't interpret it. So what they would do is with this text is they would use it as part of the CAPTCHA. So when you got that word and it said something like, Philharmonic, and you would be like, it looks kind of weird, and you would type that in and be like, that's a kind of a random word to type in. Well, that's because that was on page, 248 of some old book, and they wanted enough people to type in the same answer, and then they could use that for their artificial intelligence to interpret what these books are saying so that their OCR software got better. So essentially what everybody's been doing is providing free labor to Google, thousands and thousands of hours of free labor to Google by doing these CAPTCHA things for them in order to log into websites, even though they don't really work that well. So now don't get me going on the ones with the, select all the bicycles, the pictures of the bicycles, or select all of the stoplights, because that's also being used for the same thing. That's being used to teach artificial intelligence when it's looking at a picture. What are the stoplights? What are the bicycles? What's a bus look like? What's the stairways, etc.? And which is a boat and which isn't a boat. And so all of us collectively have been lied to, essentially, because we're being told, hey, we're humans. We're smarter than a computer. So these are the things that we know, and we can pick out the boat in these pictures, but the computer is too stupid and it can't figure it out. But instead, what we're doing is we're teaching the computer how to kill us, essentially. We're sitting there saying, these are all boats, computer. Now remember that for next time. And this is where I live, and prepare to assault and kill me. So fascinating that they do that. And that kind of shows you that there's a lot more to privacy and your rights online than people realize, because it's not all face value. The things that we're doing now, it's not just that they're harvesting our information to give us advertising, but they're actually harvesting what we're doing and creating obstacles in our way that we, move around in order to make their infrastructure smarter and their machines and everything smarter. And one of the problems I have with this, I'm not actually too worried about artificial intelligence in the long run. I think it'll probably bring more good than it would bring bad. But one of the problems I have with a lot of it, though, is that companies like Google and Apple and Microsoft and Amazon are so big that there can be almost no competition for them. Like, they sort of compete with each other, but they're becoming very selective, and even in that, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. They do compete in some areas. They all want to be the next whatever. But the information that Google has harvested from all of us collectively, right? They own that now, and they have all that. They're not giving it to anybody else, and nobody else has the reach to create something like that. Google is alone in their monopoly of this information that they've gained, and this puts us in a bad situation, because we've created these mega companies that we hope are going to do right with this information, but they don't always, as we all know. And we're locking them in to become the future of this artificial intelligence, because one of them is going to have, like, there's this artificial intelligence out now called Chat GPT. It was made by, I believe, Tesla's company, or whatever, what's his face, Elon Musk. It was his company, but Microsoft owns like, I think 20% of it, and maybe Amazon Bezos owns some of it. I'm not sure about that part though. But Microsoft is pushing it. It's part of Bing now, and it's part of like, a lot of their like software stuff. And, you can go and try it out on Bing. Sometimes you have to like sign up for it or something. And then like a week later, they'll send you a thing that says you've signed up. But it's a way of, like, instead of going on a search engine and trying to guess keywords to come back in a search, you can ask it a question. You can be like, how did Chris Oliva die? And it will tell you in a human way. It'll create like a document for you that explains everything that happened. And it will do this because it's fetching not just all this information from around the web, but it's then using its artificial intelligence to create that document in a way for you to, read it like a normal document and not a bunch of gibberish or try to find and where it is. And to the point where this can actually write essays for people. It can do your homework. It can do like programming. It can code and develop programs for you and all this sort of stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's good right now at everything that it does. It's good at a lot of things. That's why they're releasing it in the sense to the public. And it's able to efficiently speed up a lot of things that people do, but it is prone to have errors, because it's obviously not really thinking like a normal person, but it's really kind of moved things along. And what we've done here, though, is that this is great technology and other people are working on similar types of technology, but somebody's going to be the winner. Somebody's going to have the thing, right? The Facebook of artificial intelligence, the one thing that everybody goes to collectively and uses, and everybody else is going to be too far behind and unlikely to compete against that. And I think there's just a danger there because, man, if you control all of the artificial intelligence, then you control everything at some point. You are able to, help every business, every industry, every person, everything do better at what they're doing, because you now have, this computer being able to think and reason and help produce stuff. It's great for society, but we've now given all of our money to one empire, one business that has all of it. And I don't know. I'm not saying I don't have any answers for it, but it worries that worries me, because we're making these companies far too powerful. And I'm not saying we break them up because we have to compete on a world stage. We have to compete against other companies in other countries that won't get broken up, that'll be supported by their governments, etc. But I do feel like maybe we need to have some kind of, I don't want to say laws, but some kind of way of saying that businesses have to be, they have to, what's that word for it when you have to be, I got equitable in my head and it's not that word. When you're trying to be, no, when you're trying to do things for the good, when you're trying to do things, so you're not, you're accountable, but you're trying to do things for the benefit of people and not just for the benefit of your business and your dollars and cents. And that's the biggest problem with American companies and other companies around the world too. But, they're beholden to stockholders, they're beholden to shareholders, profit and money. And so they do everything for money. They don't do anything because it's the right thing to do. They do it instead because everything's driven by profit. And that's dangerous because it might be really profitable to, I don't know, eliminate half the population of the earth or something like Thanos. So anyway, that concerns me, but I think you and I are going to see some dramatic changes over the course of the next 10 years or so, as this stuff starts to streamline out. I also think that there's going to be a lot of pushback in terms of companies and employment and things like that, because right now the AI is not good enough to replace anybody, but it's getting close. It's getting close in some respects, and yeah, people are not going to be happy when computers start taking over their jobs. I know that these things also create more jobs usually, but there's some jobs that if you get rid of them, so many people lose their jobs that you can't fill them, and that's the danger. It's not just welders being replaced at auto manufacturers by robots. You know, if you got rid of like all the drivers on the planet, because all the cars are going to drive themselves, and now you've got, 100 million people out of work. What are they going to do? It's a tougher question. Anyway, just thought that was interesting about the CAPTCHA, though. Yeah, I don't know. We got 10 minutes left, Donnie. So, what's going on with you, man? Got anything going on?
Here's something I meant to tell you.
Yeah.
Thanks to this sickness.
Yeah.
I gotta use reading glasses now.
Oh.
Like before, my eyes would kind of come in and out blurry wise. Like if I was looking at stuff on my phone in small print, shit like that, or stuff at work. And it was like occasionally I'd be like, I can't see that number. I can't see this. What is that word? Nothing too crazy. But I don't know, for some reason after all this thing, I was just like, I gotta go get cheaters. I had to go get some. I just went and got some shit off the rack at Walmart. So now I carry glasses with me so I can read something.
Listen, it's not because of like.
Not that I'm embarrassed. I don't give a shit.
I got glasses. Everybody gets glasses because of there's a film in the back of your eye that helps you focus on stuff. And it I don't want to say it gets wrinkly, but kind of what it is.
It pretty much just goes away.
It just makes it so things just start getting blurry, and everybody goes to everybody. I mean,
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, that's cool. If I gotta wear glasses to read something, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's just we're lucky we live in a time where, we have options there. Although I'd like to see it get a little bit better with eyes. Like I'd like to be. Why can't they just? Listen, I don't want to have surgery. I don't want somebody to, and I know they have LASIK, right? But LASIK is kind of messing with your lens of your eye to kind of correct the versus the wrinkle in the back, let's say. But I'd rather have somebody just like change that film in the back of the eye. You know what I mean? Like instead of like warping my lens, put a new film in. And I'm not saying that's easy. I know, but it's like I always feel like surgery in this country is like really, I realize it saves tons of lives. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it just seems very crude versus everything else we do with like drugs and machines and computers and things. Like basically if there's something wrong with you, they use a knife, they cut you open, they snip that part out because they can't fix it. You know what I mean? They don't fix anything inside of you. They just are like, well, remove that, and they'll just cut that chunk of you out or sew it back on, or, like with a sewing needle, basically, or a stapler. And, and then kind of like, all right, now heal up. Hope you don't get an infection, take these pills and feel better. And it's kind of like, and like, think about it. Your back gets fucked up or your bones get fucked up, and they're like, they can't regenerate bone or anything like that you see in like Star Trek or anything. Instead, they're just like, we got some bolts and we're going to bolt that on you. We're going to bolt this leg and bolt that, this thing back in. Like Corber, he broke his leg walking. Now he's got bolts in his leg. It's just crazy to me. Like it's like the one part of science, like surgery is the one part of like science that I think like has not evolved as fast as other parts of science. And we've had lots of improvements, lasers and smaller incisions and, mechanical things that can run up your leg and your arm and, outpatient this and that and all this. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're still not really curing anything. They're just cutting out chunks of you in order to try and hope that that solves it. And just think it would be like, it's not like anything, like, not saying anything anybody could like solve. It's not like any of that, It's just that it's just funny in a way. It's like it just hasn't really gone. It hasn't really changed that much from caveman times. They used to just punch a hole in your head, We let air out of brain, and in the Civil War they just took a hacksaw and hacked your leg off or something because but yeah,
put some leeches on you.
So it's like with the eye, the best thing we got for eye is you got glasses, which are kind of ridiculous too, right? Like, I mean, it's 2023 and hey, we can't really correct your eye. So here we've got this piece of warped glass on a nice frame and you just wear that on your nose and, and that'll take care of it for you.
Through it, you can see it.
Right. And then everything will be clear. And we're all like, wow, I could really see great out of these. But it's so antiquated. I mean, it is what it is. I know there's contacts, but if you need bifocals, contacts, they do make them, I guess, but I don't know how the hell that works. And, but the other thing is it's just like, or they can warp the lens with a laser, and it's like, man, this is the best we can do. This is the best. And we don't really do well with blind people. We don't really have any answers for them most of the time. We're just, we don't know how to fix that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Your eye just doesn't work anymore. We can't reconnect the nerve. We can't rebuild any of that. We don't really have an electronic eye we can put in or anything. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. Like, that it's just, we're really struggling with that. And maybe artificial intelligence that'll be one of the things that it figures out for us or does better for us down the road. And a lot of these things can be solved because the machine can think of new things that we can't because we can't process the amount of information that a machine can. But it's just weird. So you and I, my brother, everybody, we all have to wear a piece of glass in front of our face with, fancy lens. Did you get a nice set of frames?
Yeah, it's just you go to Walmart. They got
I know, but you got to pick them out. Did you like the ones you got? I mean,
I didn't pick ladies' glasses.
Does it Kiss?
That was it's just there's nothing special about it. I'm going to put stickers on it. It's just a basic pair of glasses.
Yeah.
And when I brought them over to the girlfriend's house, and I was like, I go, check this out, because she's been bugging me. She's like, you're going to need glasses. You're going to need glasses. So I finally got them. And I was like, I was like, check this out. And I pulled them out. She goes, huh. And she kind of smiled and stuff. And I just looked at her and went, what are they, ladies' glasses? And she's like, what? And I go, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, that just looked like the most normal pair of glasses that I could think of. They didn't have like a design or flowers on it or nothing like that. I go, those aren't ladies' glasses, are they? And she's starting to laugh. And she's like, no, they're not. And I was like, okay. I was like,
it don't matter. At the end of the day, if you can see, that's what matters. I carry a magnifying glass that's in my wallet. It's like the shape of a credit card. And because I don't take my glasses with me when I go out, because I'll lose them. It's not because I'll lose them. Yeah. I don't want to lose them somewhere. So I don't take them. So I take the magnifying glass so I can see stuff like an old man when I'm looking at receipts and stuff. But I mean, I had great vision when I was young. It was just great vision. I mean, I had better than 20/20 vision, but right around 40, it just fails you. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just old age. It's just shit wears out, All
the screens you looked at.
I guess, but it happens to everybody. I mean, my brother's not looking at screens and his are shot. You know what I mean?
It does.
Well,
he's watching movies 24/7.
I guess, but he's driving for a living and shit. He's not looking at the stuff as much.
And going to the doctor. It's like he watches movies, goes to the doctor, and then drives. And it's like
I don't think
them all at the same time.
He doesn't watch all those movies. I mean, he's just posting those up because he put it on for a minute, but he's totally doing something else because like I've been to his house, all right? And this is how it is. Like you go in his living room and his girl is sitting in a chair in front of the TV and she's playing Minecraft or something, right? And sometimes the kid will be playing, the kid's like 20, will be like playing with her, but usually the kid's in her room. So Brian is on the couch with his phone and looking at TikTok videos and YouTube and stuff. And he does not have the patience to watch a movie for that amount of time. Now, when he's on the road and he's in a motel or, or whatever, because that's what he does. He spends the night in Michigan and then drives back. He's probably watching a movie then, right? Because he's got no distractions. He's sitting there. He's chilling out. He's tired. He's watching a flick. Maybe he watches a flick at home. But the way he posts on Facebook, where he spends his Saturday watching like 8-9 movies. Yeah. No, he's not. No, he isn't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just, there's no way. He's got them on for like 2 minutes and then he's on to something else. And then he's just like, I'm going to tell everybody I'm watching Smokey and the Bear. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not watching Smokey and the Bear or Smokey and the Bandit, And it's like, he's not watching that shit. You know what I mean? And he, but there'll be something that he'll want to watch, like Cocaine Bear will eventually be on. And I'm sure he'll watch that, and then he'll tell everybody it's glorious and all this kind of stuff. But all this other stuff, like, forget it. I've had to quiz him sometimes on things because I'd be like, did you see this part in the movie? And he's like, I don't know. I don't remember that. It's like, you didn't watch the movie, man. Come on.
He puts the movie on and then he leaves the room.
Yeah,
and
although
then, when the credits hit, he's like, I made it.
He does have this weird, growing up with him, he does have this weird sort of focus, though, that he gets when he reads books, or because the guy has ADHD the rest of the time, or when he's watching a movie or something, when he does have it, and he is watching it, you could sit there and talk to me like, Brian, hey, Brian. And then he's like, what? Huh? And you're like, really? Because you can't do that to me. You could say my name and I will instantly be like, what? You know what I mean? But he's there. He's left his brain and now he's in the show. He's an extra on the show. I don't know what's going on there, but he's 100% focused on that. And you just can't, you can't bother him while that's going on. But it's weird, but I don't know. Brain thing. Some people do that, I guess. I don't know. Can't multitask. Anyway, we've been an hour. Go back to your woman. Tell her I'm sorry that I took you on Easter.
It was great. It was just perfect timing. She pulled in from work, and I was like, "I'm just going to go out to the car."
And folks, we'll be back next week with more. I'm going to be going to a water park for my great nephew's birthdays. I'm going to go to that Great Wolf's Lodge on Saturday. So I'll have something to talk about next week about that. That'll be super exciting. Actually, I've never been to one of those indoor water park things, and I don't really plan on doing any of the rides. I hear there's a bar, so I'm just going to drink and enjoy my watching my grandnephews have some fun.
Remember, it's indoors, so it's probably very humid.
Yeah, I'm going to wear shorts and a t-shirt and stuff, I guess, but whatever. I'm just going to sit. I don't know. I hope there's lawn chairs or picnic tables or something, or I hope I don't have to just sit on the ground, but I'm sure it's fine. But I'll tell everybody about it next week. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you.
Peace.
You've been listening to Oblast with Don and Kevin. If you'd like to write into the show, send an email to oblast@vgn.us. That is VGN as in video game news. And be sure to check out our Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/VGN, where you can get all of our shows, our videos, and some musings. Be sure to tune in each week for new episodes on our Patreon page or every other week on the public RSS feed that you're subscribed to now. Thanks for listening, and good night.
Peace.